Good morning. Welcome to day 3 of the virtual GM conference and self-care summit. I'm Patrick Spear, pinch hitting today for Vicki Barnard, who's under the weather. We hope she feels better, and we'll see her later on in the conference. My guests today on Coffee With the Grocery Wholesale Perspective are the co-chairs of the GMDC Retail Tomorrow GM Advisory Council. Derek Winters, Vice President Sales, Willard Home Products, and Rick Cicero, Vice President Center Store Merchandising for C&S Wholesale Grocers. Today's Coffee With session is sponsored by Willard Home Products, so a special shout out to our co-host, Derek Winters. Thank you for your support. And just a quick reminder that we'll continue with our SEC meetings later this morning, beginning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Let me also remind our retailer wholesaler participants that the Buyer's Choice Discovery Guide is your go-to conference resource for booking your supplier meetings that kick off next Monday, October 12th. And we encourage all of you to view and engage with the great supplier and service provider participants who are joining us for the conference. Now let's get started with Coffee with Derek Winters and Rick Cicero. I'll be back for some closing comments in a few minutes. Welcome, Derek and Rick.
Thanks, Vicki. That was a great introduction. I'm here with Rick Cicero from C&S Wholesalers. We're going to have a nice conversation. Hi, Rick. Good morning, Rick. How you doing?
Good morning, Derek. How are you? Having some coffee. How's it going?
How's the first 2 days been so far?
It's been long, but great meetings, great engagement with vendors. It's been an awesome meeting so far. Thank you.
That's great. That's great. Well,
how's it going with
thanks.
you?
So far, so good. We've had really good, kind of a longer format. So it's been a great kind of opportunity for us to have a buyer and kind of a director level conversation. So it's been really productive so far. So GMDC has done a really good job.
Awesome.
Okay, so there's a couple questions and just kind of a conversation we wanted to have about recent events in the industry, and I've got some questions for you.
Great. Look forward to it.
So I just kind of want to start off kind of with general trends, but how has the GM HBW business changed kind of in the last 7 months in this entire environment?
Wow, Derek, to me, that's a loaded question. I mean, there's probably so much that happened over the course of 7 months, but probably won't capture everything that has changed to this unprecedented time. Over the past 7 months, the way I think we do business personally, operationally, commercially has changed, and in many ways for good. It's just been crazy. There were significant learnings and continued pivoting to help, service the consumer and also our customers. I think the entire supply chain from manufacturers to retail had to evaluate their current models. We did the same, and we had to do business that mattered, as well as focus on our key strategic market position. And I think many of the other my peers in the industry have done the same. I think in GMHBC specifically, we saw many new products emerge as essential, and some items lose out in the change of the time. So a lot of change. That's the one constant this year's brought. Even the way we go to market today and manage our business with virtual meetings, work from home, virtual conferences like GMDC and many of the other ones we attend with you, and the use of social media to market, seek out products different than, just being cold called. So it's just been a very different way of going to business. Times have changed in warp speed, and I don't see it really settling down anytime soon.
Good. I'm taking some notes here to get some follow-ups, but the first follow-up I can kind of think of immediately is, it's a great an opening, but what's some of the most interesting trends you've seen during kind of this COVID-19 era?
I don't know about interesting, but I think the most important change since the onset of COVID has been the expedited change in consumer shopping. Habits storing, to a digital shopper, either shop from home, home delivery, curbside pickup, all that kind of stuff. I think it's in the back of our minds in the past, and we've said, it's going to be in, that next 5 years. We've started to put some things in place, but I think we saw a 5-year predicted growth rate in the past 7 months and happen overnight. And I see this continue to grow year over year through the next 5 years on top of what we've already seen. Retailers, wholesalers, suppliers all had to adapt quickly to meet the needs of the shopper and not lose out to competition, especially in different markets. I think it's critical in the GMHBC world because I think in many ways our categories, especially in GM and within the grocery channel, are sometimes recognized as impulse and convenience shopping purchases. So with the shift to online, how do we, as an organization, GMDC, and as well as our individual companies, focus and put keep GMHBC in the forefront of the retailer's value proposition to its consumers, so the impulse sales are not lost. I know at CNS, and we're constantly looking for ways to innovate and support our retail partners to be successful in this space.
So yeah, we've got a 5-year trend emerging in 7 months, and that's certainly going to bring a lot of challenges and also opportunities. So kind of sticking with the bad news first. Yeah. What are some of the biggest challenges you see right now?
Not to sound like Captain Obvious, like really just it is what it is. But the number one challenge in the industry, and I think in many segments, including GMHBW, is the ability to meet the increased demand of the consumer and the supply available. The surge in early spring was unprecedented, and the demand has still not subsided, right? So, although we've seen some improvements in supply in some areas, there are still some categories and items that would probably be strained until the pandemic ends. So really simple answer to this, Derek, is really supply. It really is. I mean, just getting product to sell and get it out there for our retailers.
Yeah. That's some good points. And then, so, on the flip side, though, what are some of the biggest opportunities you're seeing in the moment?
I think I've been really proud with the work CNS has done, supporting our customers through the pandemic. And one area that really stands out is the partnership and collaboration with our manufacturer partners to maximize the supply to our customers and to the end consumer. As stated prior, supply chain was extremely strained, but with innovation, thinking outside the box, doing things that we normally wouldn't have done, to really get and work with our partners to mitigate the gaps in lost sales and meet the demands of the customers to the best of our ability. It wasn't always easy. It required a lot of heavy lifting with our manufacturer partners. And, however, I still think this is the one opportunity to get, somewhat back to normal. I don't know what that normal looks like, but get there more effectively, just really collaboration, innovation, transparency, that will help us even as an industry to get there.
Good. Well, see, CNS works with a lot of different types of retailers, all different shapes and sizes, a lot of different channels. Kind of for your business channel, whether it be grocery, drug, value, even C-store, wholesale, where do you see the greatest, just the opportunities within GMHBW, like specifically those types of categories?
Yeah, I think as stated previously, I think some categories emerged during this epidemic. Sanitizers, masks, vitamins, hand soap. I think some of those are the obvious ones. But things like kitchenware, with people cooking from home more. So the opportunity for me and, I think for my peers is securing key driving items and categories within the space and providing solutions at a value for the customer. And market them effectively, whether through digital, whether through, supply and SKU rationalization, just understanding how to market it on the shelf. The food industry has seen a boom, and we have captured audience. And this is probably one of the first time in years that we've seen this lift. And, I think making sure that we have the key items for the customer needs to get them into the store, keep them in the store, and also, have the ability to offer basket fillers, which I think GMHBW plays a big place in that, in our business.
Yeah, that's something we're really focused on is how are we building baskets and how do you get that basket size up and you're taking care of that customer. So that's something top of mind here as well. I've got a few more questions that kind of continue on this trend. So, We've talked about the past a little bit, and I know no one loves talking about making predictions, but what are kind of some of your predictions for GMHBW in the next 7 months or even 2021?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's, predictions, especially in this environment, it's just been crazy. I think it is more of an industry prediction, but I definitely see the impact of GMHBW and even the wholesalers, the need for manufacturers all the way to the retailer to find the right itemization, rationalize the SKUs that matter. I think through collaboration with our vendor and customer partners, we found that the focus and removing complexity out of the supply chain improves the output and improves store supply and store shelves. Just the actual kind of just the view of the store and being full and understanding, what the customer needs. I think we continue to see this over the next years as an industry, and we look to have a sustainable business continuity plan for now and in the future. Make sure that we stay, for our customers.
Yeah, I mean, so not really. You're not really continuing on the prediction, but more of as a support question. How can suppliers like us and even service companies be the greatest of assistance and support to a retailer or a wholesaler? What would you tell a vendor, a supplier, or a service company right now?
I think, in my opinion, the most important support suppliers can provide to retailers and wholesalers like CNS is to be more transparent, fair and equitable, be realistic with the capabilities that your company has in these times. I mean, that's, I think, really critical.
Yeah.
The suppliers that looked internally and came to the realization what is feasible in this environment and clearly communicated a plan and even made decisions in their portfolio that came out ahead, while others, in an effort to protect the turf or protect shelf space, mishandled communication, caused confusion, frustration, and ultimately lost business for themselves and the customers that they serve. So, just going back to collaboration, best in class through this pandemic are the suppliers that kept it real and built the trust of the retailers and the wholesalers. And that's through transparency and good communication. For service providers, I think this is a great time for them. Continue to bring innovation and support, especially in the emerging trends of the shopper, because the complexity of all that, plus the speed of change in shopper habits, the services are really needed right now more than ever. And to turn that around and expedite it, service providers are, definitely needed.
Yeah, we're in the constant kind of challenge too at a supply chain level, and I think those are really, really valuable insights for all of us here to kind of know and understand. So, touching back again where, CNS is in a really unique position where you guys work across so many different channels, so what are some additional kind of critical challenges that your company, even by channel, need to address to kind of face this kind of future that we're arriving into or going into?
That's a good question there. I think, in an effort not to sound too repetitive, but just our collective challenge really is to optimize the supply chain through SKU rationalization, efficient and sustainable continuity planning, making sure that we're prepared, and adapting to the new shopper habits in digital and e-commerce, and just setting up the right plan in place for that. So I think those are the key areas.
Yeah, I'm going to try to put your feet to the fire a little bit here. Try to get some more detail out of you. If you had to pinpoint, what is the most interesting, kind of that intriguing trend or opportunity you really are seeing specifically for 2021?
I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, but I think two things that I see happening that intrigue me or excite me in 2021 and now in 2021 and beyond, I think are unlikely partnerships. Which I see that in the business, and the shift from, to eat from home, joy of cooking. That's one that I personally love because I love to cook, and, the shift during the pandemic to cook from home has sparked a lot of ideas and thoughts in my mind as a marketer, and merchandising opportunities and some of the things that are out there. And I think it especially plays a big part in GM. In the GM space, especially in kitchenware and some of the areas. Kind of look forward to seeing what growth we see from that shift in habit and how long that sustains, and also the innovation that comes along with that, because I think people are starting to think about that. On the unlikely partnership front, I foresee this playing a big part in our industry. And I think it started to see a lot more traction during this epidemic, and even here at CNS, I know, we partnered with a number of food service providers over the onset of the pandemic to secure goods and shared labor to serve for our customers, as the demand was so great. I'm also, I'm reading some of the articles out there, seeing partnerships like DSW and Hy-Vee and Amazon and Kohl's, and all the different things that I think that'll continue to emerge as a trend. I also, in the food industry, I see partner with non-traditional products and in the food stores, especially during some holiday times, whether it be clothing, shoes. We saw a little bit of this last year when Toys R Us filed for bankruptcy, and we saw a lot of retailers take positions on toys, and I think you're going to see a lot of that over the next couple of months, and either for long or short-term sales events, I think you'll see some partnerships there, and I think that's exciting for me. I think those are pretty good trends.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, if you had told me in March that I would have 3 meals in my house during a weekday, I would have told you that you're crazy. So.
Especially all the traveling you do.
We all do, yeah. Well, I think a lot of suppliers would be envious of being able to ask, CNS and any retailer a bunch of questions for 20 or 30 minutes. So I really appreciate you taking the time, Rick. And then, do you have any questions for me as a representative of the supply community? What type of questions can I answer if we have any?
Yeah, I mean, thank you. And Derek, really good questions. Hopefully I gave you a pretty good insight. But I think from your perspective, as a supplier, I think I have actually a 2-part question, not to put your feet to the fire a little, right? What do you see as the greatest support that a retailer wholesaler can provide to foster success now during this pandemic or post-pandemic? And then what key strategies, trends do you see as a supplier that you foresee that we as a wholesaler, retailer should think about?
Yeah, so we've heard, anywhere from retailers walking stores and seeing items still on the shelf, deeming them, they might not be good performers. I would say that, we play in 4 major categories as kind of a vertical integrated manufacturer. Our biggest focus is one, I know you touched on supply chain a lot today, but really being in stock. So I know our lead times are a little more extended than normally, but we've continued to ship all customers in full. Granted, our lead times are a little bit longer, but being in stock has been huge for us. And then 2, being really mindful of that shopper and the retailer. So we've really targeted seasonal off-shelf displays and placements on, different items at different sizes, more of a value size to drive, building that basket, kind of like you mentioned earlier. So those have been really our 2 key focuses: being in stock, communicating in stocks, and also driving basket sizes with seasonal items that are our top items. So those are kind of our 2 focus points, and hopefully we're hitting all the high notes for all of our retail and wholesale partners.
That's awesome, Derek. Thank you.
So I think that wraps it up for me, Rick. I don't have any other questions. I'm sure other people would love to jump on right now and ask you a bunch more, but I guess they're just going to have to miss out. But thanks again. It was a fantastic conversation and really good insights in the industry, and we're really, really thankful for our GM DC partnership and membership with you guys.
Great. Thank you, Derek. And look, have great meetings, and appreciate the time. And thanks, Adenauer, for this nice coffee mug. Definitely great. And thanks to the GMDC staff. Thank you.
Well, thanks, gentlemen. Great insights as always. And we appreciate all of you joining us this morning. We look forward to seeing you back here again tomorrow when we will be joined by Heather Hughes from Walgreens and Amy McInerney from Hallmark for the chain drug perspective. We'll also be presenting our 2020 Champions of Change Awards tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Eastern. So with that, have a great day at SEC meetings, and please let us know if you have any questions or need any assistance. Have a great day.